The Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe is set to retire in the coming months after he becomes fully eligible for pension benefits. President Trump reacted on Twitter and in one tweet said this: FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe is racing the clock to retire with full benefits. 90 days to go.
These people don't think they're doing anything wrong. They think their job, apparently Andrew McCabe thinks, is to protect Democrats. Finally, somebody's paying attention. Thank goodness they're at 1600.
Breaking news, there's a federal judge out of Seattle who has partially lifted parts of the Trump administration's travel bans.
Happy holidays to all the soldiers and our families and our great DA civilians in the United States Army throughout the world. It's an absolute privilege to be here with you and all these great soldiers. These are our freedom providers. We can never take our freedom for granted.
I have an interest in the $640 million in gold.
Let's be very clear. Die Hard is a great Christmas movie. I'm here at the Plaza Hotel. I'm not Kevin McAllister, but I am Kevin McCarthy. This is vacation.
Eve to America. And to Ed Henry and Molly Line, who are here this morning.
Yes, fabulous to be here on this Christmas Eve.
Wait, did Lisa Booth oversleep again?
No.
No. This was always planned. We're just teasing Lisa. She woke up with a late.
And can you turn up the volume on this a little bit, Tova, please? This is my favorite Christmas song. This is Aaron Neville. Please come home for Christmas.
That's awesome. We're doing.
I just love Aaron Neville. Aaron Neville, that nasally voice.
Yeah, it's great. He's got that little waver in there.
We are choosing the music at the top of the hour, our favorite Christmas music, but you can write us in as well and make a request.
Yeah, it can't be all about us. So
Friends
we definitely want to hear your
FoxNews.com.
favorite songs as well.
Let us know. We're going to hear your favorite songs, too. I can't
Yeah, they're
wait.
coming up. We're not going to tell you.
An eclectic mix.
There's a lot of news as well.
It's true. A little bit of news, always.
We're going to let it build.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for sticking with us. Be with us all morning if you will. Get a cup of coffee and join us. But yes, as Ed mentioned, some big news yesterday as the Washington Post first reported, and others have subsequently reported, that the FBI's Deputy Director, Andrew McCabe, is reportedly set to retire next year. So he's been on Capitol Hill testifying recently. He did 7.5 hours of testimony, reports of some conflicting messages.
Twice. He did that
Right,
twice.
exactly.
House Intelligence Committee and then I think the Judicial Committee.
And a lot of some controversy surrounding around that.
On the griddle.
Apparently made the decision to retire when he gets to his...
Get the benefits. You got to wait for that
20
deadline.
years, gets his pension,
Right, exactly.
he's going to be done. Yeah, is what we hear.
Yeah, and the president was tweeting about this because he's been very angry with the leadership at the FBI, as you know, and what he said, reacting to these news reports: how can FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, the man in charge, along with leaking James Comey of the phony Hillary Clinton investigation, including her 33,000 illegally deleted emails, be given $700,000 for wife's campaign by Clinton puppets during investigation? He goes on, let me explain what that is first, and then we'll dive deep, which is Andrew McCabe, as Deputy Director of the FBI under James Comey. He's stayed on now under Christopher Wray. But back in 2015, his wife was running for the state Senate, I believe it is, in Virginia.
Virginia, yeah.
Over $500,000 in campaign money just happens to flow into her campaign. She ended up losing anyway. But the money came in from a PAC associated with Terry McAuliffe, the Democratic governor, who's close to the Clintons.
That's right. He's very close to the Clintons.
And yet Andrew McCabe was helping to oversee an investigation of Hillary Clinton's email server. That's a little curious.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning to Pete earlier regarding the benefits, you got to wait for the benefits to kick in. And the president also tweeting on that aspect of this, tweeting, FBI Director Andrew McCabe is racing the clock to retire with full benefits. 90 days to go. So we shall see how this all actually
part of that
falls
indictment
out.
is, of course, no one ever gets fired in the federal government. They just wait their time out to collect the pension benefits that we all pay for. This is the same Andrew McCabe who's known as Andy in the texts, we believe so, between Peter Strzok and his girlfriend Lisa Page, talking about a potential insurance policy should Donald Trump get elected. As you mentioned,
the text exchange right there, and Peter Strzok was saying, yeah, remember we were in Andy's office. There's no way he, as in Trump, is going to get elected. But I'm afraid we can't take this risk. And so you remember the other one. It's like an insurance policy in the unlikely event you die before you're 40. So this is in real time during the 2016 campaign. McCabe, as deputy director, is helping to oversee this investigation of Hillary Clinton's email server. His wife's getting money from Clinton pals earlier, the year before. And then Peter Strzok is the lead agent, overseeing the Hillary Clinton interview, helping to rewrite James Comey's exoneration statement for Hillary Clinton that was done a couple months before she was exonerated, a couple months before she was even interviewed. So all of these senior people at the FBI had ties to the Clintons.
And more broadly speaking, so many people have been shuffled around, moved, left their jobs as the entire investigation has been unfolding. The Trump dossier investigation, the Trump-Russia investigation. So various people have either left their positions or now here we are talking about a potential retirement
Including
in
James
March.
Baker, the chief counsel, is expected to be leaving as well.
And that's
right, reassigned, as they say.
That's not even to mention the DOJ, Bruce Orr, Nellie Orr, all the things that have happened there as well. Some might call it the draining of the FBI swamp, if you will, if there really was a partisan affiliation there. J. Christian Adams was on the program earlier, on justice, had this to say about the politicos in the DOJ and FBI and who they like to protect. Listen.
People need to understand these people in the FBI and DOJ, they don't think they're doing anything wrong. They think this is normal operating procedure. What the president is referring to is Andrew McCabe's wife was running for office in Virginia, got a load of money from Terry McAuliffe, the governor, who was also under investigation by the FBI. And, of course, they don't have to return all that money in Virginia. They can keep it, so Andrew McCabe actually benefited. These people don't think they're doing anything wrong. They think their job, apparently Andrew McCabe thinks, is to protect Democrats. I think it's good that we finally have a president who fights back against these bureaucrats, because these bureaucrats have been getting away with it for a very long time. Finally, somebody's paying attention. Thank goodness they're at 1600.
And by the way, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley has been asking questions of Andrew McCabe, sending letters and whatnot about reports that he used his FBI email to promote his wife's campaign, which could be a Hatch Act violation of politicking on using federal resources. Some
have liked to point out some irony in that aspect, of course.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, we've had some folks on our program over the last couple of weeks who have predicted that this exact type of a shakeup was going to happen. Take a listen to Sara Carter and Trey Gowdy.
This is a big investigation. What I know is that they have been running polygraphs on people within the FBI. They are looking for leakers, and a lot more information is going to come out. I think there's going to be a shakeup.
Remember, we were supposed to interview Andy McCabe yesterday on another committee. It was all set up and ready to go, and then at the last minute they said, he can't come Tuesday. He's going to come next week. I'll be shocked if he comes next week. I'll be a little bit surprised if he's still an employee of the FBI this time next week.
A whole nother layer to this. I mentioned James Baker, the general counsel of the FBI, maybe being reassigned. He's somebody who's been accused of leaking the dossier to a reporter early on, unverified information about then-candidate Donald Trump. Trey Gowdy's talking about Andrew McCabe's closed-door testimony with various committees and whatnot. Interesting, because we learned last week that Andrew McCabe said behind closed doors, among other things, that he couldn't recall, details of when he learned about the dossier and whether or not the FBI helped pay for that dossier. I mean, these are big questions. Were federal taxpayer dollars used to help collect this dirt on Donald Trump that ends up boomeranging in part
into the timeline
into this,
really matters if it was used to get information through the FISA court and to actually spy on the Trump campaign in the course of the run-up to the election.
You know who's had the same thing that she couldn't recall dozens and dozens of times? Crooked Hillary Clinton, when she was investigated by the FBI, not under oath. The president calls her crooked Hillary Clinton.
Secretary Hillary Clinton, you said?
Or crooked, either one, whatever the president uses. And in this particular case, she was not under oath, was not, there's no actual consequences there. It is the MO of someone who might know something that they can't give up. Say, I do not recall. And so there are a lot of concerns about that behind-the-scenes testimony that he gave and where that could lead to. So a lot of smoke. We'll see where the fire is.
We shall see where it all leads. Turning now to your headlines, the Department of Homeland Security is now calling a shooting spree against Pennsylvania officers a terror attack. This, as they confirm, chain migration let the suspect into the country. Egyptian national Ahmed Amin al-Mafdi, who arrived here on a family visa, was shot dead by police after injuring a state trooper in a gunfight Friday. His family telling ABC News that he was, quote, a chicken, but not a terrorist. Earlier this month, another man who came into the U.S. through chain migration tried to set up a bomb in a New York City subway. A federal judge partially lifting President Trump's refugee ban, the decision opening the door for spouses and children of immigrants already in the country. The judge says it restores the refugee program to where it was before the president's new directive in October, requiring, quote, extreme vetting of refugees from 11 predominantly Muslim countries. An Army claiming victory in the Armed Forces Bowl, thanks to teamwork you will only see from the West Point cadets.
Chapman. And it's intercepted.
Oh, wow.
That was a Black Knight defender tipping the pass to his teammate, Army, eventually scoring a game-winning touchdown and a two-point conversion in that final minute, beating San Diego State 42-35.
Wow, big year.
Those are
Beat
headlines.
Navy and win the Armed Forces Bowl. Not too bad. Go Army. Congratulations.
I feel like you have a bias in that.
Just
maybe a little bit.
I've never had a bias ever, Ed.
Well, we are going to be showing some of our Christmas pics from when we were kids and growing up. And there I am. I think I've got, is it Superman? A Superman shirt?
Yeah, Superman.
And
You got some good loot there.
I love to get. Oh, there's Batman. That's what I knew Batman was coming because my mom found these pictures yesterday. And by the way, the little plastic on the couch. And here's Molly.
Oh, yeah, there I am. There's my little brother John there, looking adorable as he always did. He was the good kid, I've been told. You know, just the sweet child. But see, there we are. See, we're pulling it off. We're pulling it off. We're behaving ourselves for the Christmas photo.
Big tail, big smile. Love it. That's me, 1981. I believe I'm about 1.5. Those are my parents, Brian and Penny, in our Christmas photo.
You're selling it in that photo.
Smiley.
Yeah, you're selling it.
That's a couple of years ago. My boys at the mall Santa, of course, and that's Gunner on the left.
That's a pretty legit Santa, yeah.
That's me in Afghanistan.
Oh,
in 2011 in Kabul. I got my Christmas.
That is a Christmas
I got my
photo.
rank on the front of my Santa hat.
Santa hat? Oh, gosh.
Got to have an American flag on there, too, Ed. You know?
Yeah, I like it.
America first there.
Decked out, yeah.
So that's us with the hills of Afghanistan behind me. I've got another photo from Iraq that I'll share from 2005, my Christmas card from Iraq. Oh, that's also me hucking a snowball. Actually hit the photographer in a place that shall remain nameless after that photo. It was an effective shot. Yeah, that was in Kabul.
Where he got hit?
Yeah, where he got hit after he took the photo.
I thought you meant a city.
He went down. So we've got a lot of military members here, folks deployed, family members. Send us your photos. Do you have pictures of when you were deployed in a combat zone or elsewhere in the military? We would love to share them all morning long on this Christmas
Or someone serving right now, friends at foxnews.com.
Even better, someone serving right now. Do you have friends at foxnews.com? Let us know. We're going to share them throughout the morning. We're excited about it.
All right, we're excited.
So stick with us. All right. Well, first he turned California into a sanctuary state. Now Governor Jerry Brown has a Christmas present for President Trump, pardoning illegal immigrants who are convicted felons. Wonderful.
Plus, they voted no on taxes, so will they pay the price? We break down the 10 Senate Democrats who may not survive 2008. Next.
Every single Democrat voted against President Trump's tax cuts in the House and Senate. So will they pay the price, particularly in the Senate, where you've got 10 Democrats now vulnerable heading into the 2018 midterms? How will the president make them pay up? Here to break it down, radio talk show host Tony Katz from Indiana. I get to be on your show a lot, and I enjoy doing that by phone. Now we're in person. Let's go through this. The vulnerable Senate Democrats, they were vulnerable before this vote. Here are the 10 in states like your home of Indiana with Joe Donnelly. Walk us through some of these who you think are going to be really facing the wrath.
Well, it's not even a question of who I think. It's a question of who are. And we take a look at Claire McCaskill in Missouri. This isn't 2012. She doesn't get to hand select the person that she's running against, a la Todd Aiken. She doesn't have that issue. She may have money in the bank, some name ID, but she's going to go up against a guy named Josh Hawley. As long as all the other Republicans or quasi-Republicans clear out of that field, the Attorney General, who made the promise that he wasn't going to run for higher office, go a la Obama, and just find his way. All right, now he's doing it.
She may face the heat.
But Josh Hawley is the guy to beat.
Your home state, Indiana. Joe Donnelly, moderate Democrat.
Back home again, there are no moderate Democrats because none of them voted for this tax plan. You have guys like Joe Donnelly talking about how it might be helpful. Joe Manchin did the same, but he's not moderate. He thinks Obamacare could be fixed. He thinks that subsidies are the answer, and he's going to go up against Luke Messer or Todd Rokita in that race, and they are going to pummel him. It's going to be the most ugly race in all of America.
Oh,
just
you
mark
said it here
write
first.
it down.
All right, Joe Manchin, West Virginia. Some people thought, look, he's the most likely person to vote for the tax cut. Didn't do it.
Yeah, but I don't think he's an issue. I think that the conventional wisdom on Joe Manchin is wrong. He may be a Democrat in a state that Trump won by a bajillion points. He may have a governor that switched from Democrat to Republican. But the name ID on Joe Manchin is off the charts.
Former governor, so he could probably survive this
He's going to survive just fine.
All right, Heidi Heitkamp. The president had high hopes. He went to North Dakota, thought, look, maybe she's the moderate who'll come on board. No doing.
And I think it's highly personal for President Trump. Brought her onto the stage, called her the good woman comment. comment, right? And now she didn't go forward in voting for this tax cut. I think it is going to be personal with President Trump on this one. I think you're going to see him in North Dakota a lot, like I think you're going to see him in Ohio a lot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, look at Sherrod Brown in Ohio. You mentioned Ohio. It's a state that on election night, Democrats were stunned that Donald Trump won it.
And I think that Donald Trump wants to prove it's not a fluke. He goes back repeatedly. Josh Mandel is the guy who lost in 2012 to Sherrod Brown. You're talking about a guy who is on the left. This is a Bernie bro from beginning to end. And so I think President Trump is going to want to be able to say to those people, I'm the guy who kept talking about you. Yeah. I'm the guy who never forgot about you.
What kind of excuses have they been making? I mean, because there were a lot of these Democrats. Brown is not a moderate Democrat, but Donnelly in your home state of Indiana, why can't you vote for something that is largely going to the middle class, that's going to help businesses? A corporate tax cut, 35% to 21%. What's the excuse?
The answer is 40 to 33. When you take a look at that Alabama special Senate race, and as strange as it was, 40% of the people voted strongly opposed to President Trump. 33% voted strongly in favor of President Trump. That's a +7 to the strongly opposed. What does that mean? Hate is a motivator in this midterm. And Joe Donnelly has to ask himself, where are the voters? Are the voters in that moderate kind of field?
Right.
Or are they in that strong anti-Trump place? They're in the strong anti-Trump place.
And this matters because the president's agenda in 2018 and beyond is obviously up for grabs. But there could be more Supreme Court nominations after 2018. And who controls the Senate is a major deal. I got 15 seconds.
The Democrats have not done a good job of looking too forward in anything. If they had, Chuck Schumer wouldn't have gone so strong against a guy like Neil Gorsuch and maybe saved some opportunities for blocking later candidates.
Huge stakes. Tony Katz, Indiana, what's the station?
It's WIBC 93.1.
All right, check it out. Meanwhile, NSA leaker Edward Snowden exposed top secret government information. Now he wants to help protect your data with more spying? And in the spirit of the season, the family of an elite Navy SEAL is carrying on his legacy by giving to the families of other fallen heroes. What a remarkable legacy. The Gold Star family, they join us next.
Some quick headlines. The Marines' top general, Robert Neller, now telling hundreds of Marines in Norway there's a war coming. According to military.com, he's predicting Russia or the Pacific to be the focus of any upcoming conflict. This as North Korea calls the UN's latest sanctions, quote, an act of war. The rogue nation threatening to punish those who supported it. And first, he turns California into a sanctuary state. Now Governor Jerry Brown has a Christmas present for President Trump, pardoning 132 people, including a pair of illegal immigrants. Both men from Cambodia are convicted felons here in the U.S., one nabbed for stealing a car and the other on a weapons charge.
Welcome back to Fox and Friends. A powerful story for you here on this Christmas season. Gold Star parents honoring the memory of their elite Navy SEAL son. Aaron Vaughn was killed in 2011 when his helicopter was shot down in Afghanistan. He had just celebrated his 30th birthday and left behind 2 young children. Now his life and legacy are the inspiration behind Operation 300, a nonprofit organization that hosts adventure camps and provides mentorships for children who lost their fathers as a result of military service. A great cause in this season of giving. Aaron's parents, Karen and Billy Vaughn, join us now to tell us all about it. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Obviously for your son's service and sacrifice. First, if you would, Karen, for our audience, remind everyone who Aaron Vaughn was and what he stood for.
Aaron was a member of SEAL Team 6, but most importantly, he was a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. And when he left this earth, it radically shifted a lot of lives, and there was a lot of damage control to be done. And so we realized that was something that's happened a lot in the last 16 years of war on terror.
Ultimately, the fear was, or the concern was, you know, his children, how are they going to grow up learning the things that he would have instilled in them? It's not just his kids, but the kids of so many.
Aaron's wife and expressed that concern. Who's going to teach them the things that their dad would have taught them? And it gave Tara, our oldest daughter, we have 2 daughters, Tara and Anna, Tara the inspiration to come up with something. We have over 7,000 men and women who've lost their lives in the last few years in this war on terror, and they've left behind a lot of kids and family members, and hence Operation 300.
Now, Operation 300 lives on as part of Aaron's legacy. Talk to us about what these adventure camps are and how they help these kids of the fallen.
Okay, so yeah, the kids come in. They come in on a Friday and they stay through Sunday, and they do things that kids, boys and girls, would have done with their dad. I mean, they sail, they fish. Sheriff's Department comes out and does shooting with
shoot
them.
guns?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have 22s that are built on the same frame as the AR-15. So they're shooting guns just like their dad, just like their dads did. And
Very cool.
We have competition with that. We have archery competition, horse riding, campfires.
So the moms come in, the kids go to an adventure camp. They do really cool outdoor stuff with other members of the military who volunteer their time to be with them, right?
Absolutely.
And then the mothers are able to go for a spa weekend and spend a little time.
We literally just pamper them, put them up in a sweet hotel in West Palm Beach, and they get to spend a weekend either at the beach or whatever. But the most important thing is they get to bond with other women who are in the same life circumstances. What we found at this camp is these kids are just having miraculous bonding experiences being around other kids who had the same sort of life, experienced the same sort of loss, and then got shifted into a culture they'd never been a part of.
Christmas, you're looking for inspiration. This camp is one of them. How can folks help Operation 300 in these camps?
Well, first you can go to our website,
which is
operation300.com, and it'll tell you all about the camp. Everything that we do is done by donations and donors and volunteers. The kids come from all over the country.
I'll tell you this, full disclosure, I've known the Vaughns for years, first through Karen and also through Billy. They speak passionately and powerfully about their son and who he was, but ultimately they are about giving back to this country and others who have lost sons or daughters. This camp is super cool, and if you're looking for an investment in this new year, it's a perfect place to put it. Operation300.com. It's a boots on the ground, real values kind of thing, where the kids who deserve it the most, whose parents have given the most, have an opportunity to be affected by and continue the legacy of their fathers.
Right.
Billy and Karen Vaughn, thank you both this morning.
Thank you, Pete.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right. An awesome organization. Well, moving on, still ahead. Santa isn't the only one with a naughty or nice list. We'll tell you who is getting a present and who is getting a lump of coal this year coming up. And Christmas, it's tomorrow. Are you stressed about spending that family time with family? Or making sure you got the perfect gift? Dr. Mark Siegel is here to help you stay stress-free throughout the Christmas holiday.
You bet. I got run over by a reindeer. It's sort of obvious, right?
You know what's funny? This was requested by someone, too. This was like, of all the Christmas songs they wanted to hear today, it was Grandma Got Run Over.
Michael from Las Vegas, and yes, it's a great song. It's a fun song.
It's one of the funny ones, yeah.
If I had to pick who it would be Michael in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
What is it? Mountain time there
Still
right
awake.
now? So it's
Pacific.
Is it Pacific time in Las Vegas? So it's 3:30 a.m. His day is ending, not starting right now.
He's getting ready for Grandma to come over.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's having a great time out there right now.
Keep sending us your music requests, friends@foxnews.com, as well as your military, any photos you have from Christmas, but also any you have from being deployed or in the military. We want to see those.
Yeah, maybe if you got some presents piled up under the tree and the kids are getting it, antsy about it.
That's true.
You just put them out there early and make them look at them. That's good. The anticipation, the shaking of them.
I remember low crawling to my grandma's tree to peek into the gift. My brother and I would do it. It's not good. I feel bad about it.
You guys were sneaky back then.
So what about people are talking about actually giving the gift of experiences rather than material gifts around the holidays, around Christmas? And so there was a study done by NPD Group about gift giving, and they found that 40% of shoppers plan to give gift cards, event tickets, other intangible gifts. And I like to do that, especially with my son. He loves the NBA. Go to like a real cool game, not one that's obvious in Washington where we live. You know, go to another city.
It works out for you too, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're giving away the secret. No, but he's gotten a chance to meet some NBA players and stuff, and that kind of thing is just something you can't
and so memorable
figure out. You know, like you can't write down on a piece of paper like, you know, this is the gift. You just go, and then all of a sudden you run into people. You know, the game goes into overtime. You just don't plan for it. It's spontaneous. It's fun.
It's great. I think you also, with young kids, you can see so many toys piling up into the tree. It's like, A, we don't need this.
Yeah.
B, it's a bunch of crap and trinkets that are going to be broken in 2 weeks. And C, like, sometimes you give all these gifts, and then they're still crying.
Because they told Santa they wanted something and they didn't get it, and you're like, you're ungrateful. So I'm not trying to be a Scrooge here, but
so you're that dad. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
You may want to dial back and say, back 4 years ago, you got one wooden train, and that's what you got for Christmas. You're lucky you got 15 Nerf guns. I mean, I think there's people that feel that way. Let's get back to the true meaning of it.
And the gift of the experience, you get the anticipation. They open it, they know something, we're going on a trip, or we're going to do this thing, and then that builds up too.
So it's a good trend. I like it.
Dad Pete.
I had to walk uphill when I was a kid.
No fun for Christmas.
Oh, boy. Scrooge. No, just kidding. Turning now to your headlines. Chaos and confusion for last-minute Christmas shoppers after reports of shots fired at a mall.
What's going on?
Shoppers running for the exits as officers in Aventura, Florida, clear the mall in North Miami. But after hours of searching, they were unable to find any evidence of shots fired, thankfully. Police now working to figure out what exactly sparked that panic. The mall is going to reopen this morning for shopping. Miss America's CEO and 2 top execs calling it quits. This after sexist and degrading emails about former contestants were made public a few days back. Majority of those emails written by the CEO, now gone, Sam Haskell. The 2013 winner, Mallory Hagan, was among those who were criticized in the email. She joined dozens of former Miss Americas in signing a petition asking that the leadership go. Meanwhile, mourning a hero. Funeral services held for a fallen firefighter named Corey Iverson. The 32-year-old died of smoke inhalation and burns battling the Thomas wildfire we've been talking so much about in California. He leaves behind a 2-year-old daughter, Evie, and pregnant wife as well, Ashley.
Sweet husband left this earth not just a hero, but in my eyes he left us as a superhero. Today I will add one more vow to you, my love. I vow to you to make you proud.
Oh, wow. Firefighters still battling that Thomas fire, which has now become the largest in California history. Wow.
God bless Corey Iverson.
Absolutely.
And those are your headlines. We're going to toss now, right over here, our own Rick Reichmuth.
Guys, up where Santa is, it's really cold. Ooh. Right now. Take a look at this. Well, he's, I guess, a little bit farther up there. This is your wind chill in Baker Lake, Canada. It feels like minus 61, minus 46 in Yellowknife. About 4 years ago, you don't know this, I went to Yellowknife, Canada, to see the Northern Lights, and it was minus 63 was the wind chill, minus 45 actual.
Santa's sleigh. I mean, it's got to be like negative 100. You're up there.
Yeah, plus the elevation he's got. So he's up in the air. So probably about minus 90, something like that. We don't talk about that much, nearly as much as we should. What does he do for that? That's my thought.
Layers.
Layers, exactly. All right, so that cold air is up there. It's going to be flirting here with the northern part of the country over the next number of days. Behind this one system that came through, that was the system we saw yesterday, the tail end of the cold front all the way down here across parts of Georgia, moving in across the panhandle of Florida as well. But take a look at this. We have snow this morning moving in across parts of the Great Lakes, and that is going to be a storm that moves in kind of off the shore today and becomes a coastal storm tonight into tomorrow across parts of New England. So get ready for a white Christmas anywhere you see that storm moving on through.
Do people actually live in Yellowknife?
They do. About 20,000 people live in Yellowknife.
And how do you deal with minus 46?
I will still put some pictures out on Twitter and show you.
I want to see it.
It's very interesting. You deal with it for about 10 seconds at a time.
All right. Thanks, Rick. We'll get back to you.
Rick, thanks a lot.
Molly?
Well, from politics at the dinner table to serious seasonal stress, the holidays not always easy. We have a doctor in the house who is here to help you and your family stay safe and healthy this Christmas. Fox News Medical Aid Team member, Dr. Mark Siegel. Thanks for coming in. You know, this is the type of thing.
Having me.
Yes, I'm so delighted. I'm always delighted to get to hang out with you. And so this is a wonderful treat for me on Christmas Eve. And these topics that we're going to talk about are really something everybody can relate to. You know, you want to see your families at Christmas, but sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah, Molly, 8 out of 10 people are actually under stress at this period of time. And social media fuels this. Social media expectations. You see that beautiful Christmas tree, so well decorated. You can't wait to get together with people you haven't seen in a long time. Guess what happens? Huge political battles go on over the dinner table. Liberals hating conservatives, conservatives firing back. So I say,
where's the love?
Here's my first prescription. You got it. Look for what you loved about this person to begin with. Stop with this political fighting. Stay within your comfort zone. What do you know about? Find someone that you really like in your family. Meet them in the kitchen and say, let's talk about something else. Try to find the point of agreement, and don't be such a know-it-all. That's number one.
The point of agreement. Can you go give that lesson to our members down in Congress, and maybe they could find some points of agreement?
You know, Rand Paul told me when I interviewed him, actually, that the Democrats and Republicans both wished him well in his recovery. So I think it's not necessarily the way it's always portrayed. There are some niceties in Congress.
What about indulging at the holidays? I mean, I'm already looking forward to eating all the food my sister-in-law Mindy makes, and, you know, all those treats that you only get at this time of year.
Well, Molly, I say, first of all, do your exercise that you usually do before and after, day before and day after. Don't say, oh, I'm going to eat now. I'm putting it on hold. Earn it. And drink a lot of water. Keep the amount of alcohol you have down. And something else I want everyone out there to be aware of. Beware people bringing pies. They may bring great pies, but there's a huge flu season.
Wow,
raging.
I'm the person that brings the pie. I don't bake the pie. I pick up the pie, but...
Don't give away that secret, because everyone thought you made the pie. So, but you're not like Sarah Sanders, who makes all of her pies, by the way. But here's the thing. There's a lot of viruses, respiratory viruses around, flu viruses. Right now, the flu season is raging in the South and the Southwest. So if you haven't had your flu shot, you still can get it. And flu is easily transmitted at these family gatherings. And it's one of our worst seasons on record, it looks like. So I say watch out for that. Stay
and there are
hydrated.
health issues that just pop up more likely to pop up during the holidays?
Some of that, I believe, is stress-related. There's more heart attacks that occur during this period of time. And you know why? People are out there shoveling snow who haven't picked up a shovel in 2 years. Don't get on that ladder. Have your child do it. Hand it off to your kid. You know, they need to show off, not you.
Talk about earning it, right?
Absolutely. So don't do things physically you're not used to doing.
All right, Dr. Siegel.
And also, when you're out on the road, one more thing. When you're out on the road, look out for the other guy. Even if you haven't had anything to drink, even if you're well rested, the other guy may be weaving lane to lane. Watch out.
Absolutely. Thank you. Dr. Siegel, thank you so much. Very safe travels to you over the holidays. We appreciate you coming in.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Yes, you too. NSA leaker Edward Snowden exposed top secret government information, but now he wants to help protect your data with more spying. And Santa is not the only one with a naughty or nice list. We will tell you who is getting a present and who's getting a lump of coal this year next.